Chaim. Chaim, I read a story yesterday. Maybe a lot of people know it. Everyone knows it. When Rabbi Sudak was a bacher in some 70, and there was this public phone upstairs in the hallway where the coats are hanging. And the phone rings. And Rabbi Sudak picks up the phone. And there's a lady that says, this is Mrs. Schneerson from President Street. So you want to know if it's the Rebbetzin Chane or if it's which Mrs. Schneerson. So he says, is that the old Rebbetzin or the young Rebbetzin? So she said, I'm not a Rebbetzin, my husband is the Rebbe. That's what she said. So she said she's not a Rebbetzin, but the husband is the Rebbe. Anyway, I was learning before when someone asked me a question. So that, and how to answer him. So I remember what happened. We're learning in Tanya that there is two types of people who have Ahava to the Eibishter. There are people who use their brains, and by using their brains, they misbeinen and they awaken Ahava. And then there are people who can't use their brains for some reason. They are limited in that. And they awaken the Ahava, which is the Ahava Mesuteres. So in Ahava, in Tanya, he gives the example that animals also have midas, also have emotions, but it's natural emotions. They didn't do it with their brains. But human beings, through their brains, they get the emotions, they choose their emotions. So the same is the two types of Aveda in the Ave to the Eibishter, the Ave to do Teir Mitzvahs. So one is similar to a Chai and one is similar to a Medaber, so one is similar to an animal. But it says also in the Tanya over there, it says the one who uses his brains is Bechira, he chose. He has a choice. So what is there a choice? Because you use your brains, you don't have a choice. So someone asked me, you still have the Ava to the Eibishter, same Ava. So why one is called having a choice, one is not having a choice? So I answered him that this question, similar question, was asked by one of the pupils in school. That they said that we tell them always they have free choice. But if they have free choice, they get punished. So that's not free choice. So I explained to them that free choice is not hefkeris. Hefkeris is do what you want, even the wrong things, no one's going to do anything. Free choice means responsibility, but you choose yourself to do a responsible thing. If you don't have free choice, someone else chooses for you. So that is, as said before, the Rebbe wants us to have the free choice and choose ourselves the right thing. Sometimes we fail, and the Rebbe directs us in the right direction. But the Rebbe wants us first to think for ourselves and choose ourselves. That is what the Rebbe wants for us. And there is a story of someone who had a question. It was a big question what to do. He's written to the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe a couple times, and the Rebbe did not answer. The Rebbe did not answer. And then he made his own decision. And it seems to be a wrong decision. And the Rebbe afterwards said that he made the wrong decision. So he says, what I asked, and I didn't get an answer, so I did whatever I understood. So the Rebbe, this man was in a very high position, very responsible position. And the Rebbe told him that in such a responsible position, you should make your own decision. You don't have the chance of doing a wrong decision. So that was someone who was like very important, very close to in Yonim negate to the cloud. But everyone is negated to the cloud. But we should continue our work, and we should try to do the right thing, and we should learn and give tzedakah and write to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe will help us. But we need to use our own brains. We need to use our own brains, and we need to use our own choice, and the Rebbe will help us to get to the right choice. that is the thing that the Rebbe wants, and that we could learn from the Rebbetzin also. But when the Rebbe says something, I see Rabbi Lu somewhere, so I remember a story that I like very much. I'll say it again every time. I'm going to say again the story. When the Rebbe says something, you have to do it what the Rebbe says straight away, and that helps you. There is a story that Rabbi Lu once said when he came here to Manchester, and the story happened, I think he denies the story happened, but it doesn't matter. The story is true. In Crown Heights, there used to be a time that not all the Rabbanim of the shuls were Lubavitcher Rabbanim. There were people who are not Lubavitchers who used to live there. Actually, when Rabbi Lu was a Bocher, majority, how did Rabbi Feller said, 99% of Crown Heights were not Lubavitchers then. And Bochum used to go to a shul to Chazach Sidus, so they used to go to a shul, where the shul is not Lubavitcher people, the Rav is not Lubavitcher, etc. So there is one occasion that there was a Rav who wasn't a Lubavitcher, and this Rav was saying a pilpul, saying a drosha. And he quoted the Tzemach Tzedek, and he asked a question on the Tzemach Tzedek, and he was speaking not nicely in the way he spoke about the Tzemach Tzedek. And then he says, and he's making his own teretz, his own chidush. The Rav is saying, I make a chidush. I don't know how the Misnagdim speak. He's making like a whole thing. And he gives an answer, which he said was a better answer than the Tzemach Tzedek because it's wherever. So there was a Bocher of some 70 there, very nice Bocher, very frum, Chassidish Bocher, but he's not someone who is a Baki B'Shas. He didn't learn all the Mefarshim, all of the Shas. So he pipes up and he says, this Chidush is written in Pnei Yeshua, in Maseches this and this, daf this and this, which wasn't a Masechta that they learned in Yeshiva, and it wasn't a daf that they learned in Yeshiva. So the Rav was a bit mixed up, and all the Lubavitcher were there, were very happy, because this chutzpah of the Rav to not be the cheretz to the Tzemach Tzedek, and he's got his way back. So some Bachim thought that he was just inventing a Pnei Yeshua like this. Other Bachim believed that there was a right Pnei Yeshua. So afterwards, his friends asked him, how did you get to knowledge of this Pnei Yeshua? How do you get to know this Pnei Yeshua? I know you, you know me. This Pnei Yeshua, you shouldn't have learned it. How do you know about this Pnei Yeshua? So he says, I'll tell you the truth. There was a couple of months ago, or whatever, a couple of weeks ago, the Rebbe is coming out 3:15, and sometimes the Rebbe comes a bit later, sometimes not. But Rabbi Chadakov came out, and Rabbi Chadakov said the Rebbe is going to come a couple of minutes later, and the time shouldn't go to waste. The Bachim should learn in the meantime. Now, he's a Chassidish Bacher, so when Rabbi Chadakov said that, he grabbed the first sefer that was lying on the table in Sim 70, which was a Pnei Yeshua. He opened it, and the first Pnei Yeshua that he got, and he learned it. And it was exactly, he wasn't stupid, so he understood it, Pnei Yeshua. So that's exactly this chidush of this guy who was trying to impersonate his own chidushim in the name of Pnei Yeshua. And Baruch Hashem. So the moral of the story is, if you follow the heroes of the Rebbe, you never lose out, and sometimes you can even get to give a nice kick to the misnagdim. That's if you learn and you follow the Rebbe's thing. This Bacher is Noske Wolf. Noske Wolf is a very Chassidish guy. I think he lives in Nachal Zachabad. He's a very nice guy. So people told him, Noske, wie kommt zu dir als Pnei Yeshua? So we should learn, and by not learning, we don't get this hanoah to put people in the right place when it's necessary. So we should learn, and we should learn properly, and we should do what the Rebbe says. And we do what the Rebbe says. Sometimes you don't see straight away the benefit, and who looks for benefit anyway? The Rebbe said. And sometimes you see later. Sometimes you see a lot later. You see the benefit. But as long as we're trying to do the right thing, we don't think of ourselves. We don't think on ourselves. there is this whole thing of Matan Torah of this week is the same question. The same question we're struggling. The Oves were doing mitzvahs in Ruchnius, so they were safe. They were totally Ruchnius. Nothing to do with Gashmis, right? By us, we do things in Gashmis. We need to connect the Ruchnius with the Gashmis. So that's difficult. That's the whole purpose of Matan Torah. That's the Onechi of Matan Torah. That's the Keles Obrokim. That's the whole thing by Yered Hashem ala Sinai. And a preparation for it, it says, Onechi Hashem Elokecha asher etzisicha me'etz Mitzrayim. We have to suffer through the goals of Mitzrayim. Everything that happened in Mitzrayim. Someone was in one of the discussions somewhere, someone remembered a certain sicha that the Rebbe actually was crying, and the Rebbe mentioned in the Golos Mitzrayim, Pari hat sich gebodni idische Blut. Pari was bathing in Jewish blood. He was literally taking Jewish blood and bathing in it. It was the Golos Mitzrayim was not a picnic. Golos Mitzrayim, it was very, very difficult, and all this was a preparation for Matan Torah. And by Golos Mitzrayim, we got purified, we got refined, and the whole world. And then on Hashem Elokecha asher etzisicha me'etz Mitzrayim. And the Rebbe says there is also the pasuk when the Eibusha said to Yankiv that he's going to go with him to Mitzrayim. He used the word Onechi. Onechi eiredimcha Mitzrayim, v'onechi alcha gam oli. That the reason you're going down to Mitzrayim is for the purpose to be able to get to them afterwards, to get the Onechi, to do the Onechi Hashem Elokecha. But Onechi Hashem Elokecha means to connect Ruchnius with Gashmius. Everyone will be very happy in Gan Eden. They have only Ruchnius. Only Ruchnius. The Ruchnius could be in different ways. Ruchnius to be only to learn and not to have to do Gashmius and mitzvahs. Only to learn by yourself, which is Ruchnius. And sometimes you learn with someone else that you can see this guy is full of Gashmius. It's very difficult to put some Ruchnius into him. But that's the Matan Torah. Matan Torah is to connect Ruchnius with Gashmius. To connect Ruchnius with Gashmius. Not to learn Torah in Gan Eden. Not to learn Torah like Avraham Avinu. It's to learn Torah after Matan Torah. There is a Gashmius. Klum Yitzhahara yesh bachem. If you don't have a Yitzhahara, you're a Malach. Forget about Matan Torah. Nothing to do with you. If you have a Yitzhahara, Baruch Hashem, now you will start talking. If you have a Yitzhahara, now Matan Torah is for you, and you can learn Torah and connect and struggle. So struggling, that's the whole thing of Matan Torah. We shouldn't be scared of struggle. Someone who doesn't struggle, it's not. There is a story with the Tzemach Tzedek that the Alter Rebbe wanted to give him the matana learning. Limud HaTorah wanted to give him matana. So the Tzemach Tzedek refused, because the Tzemach Tzedek said, learning, you have to work on it. You have to toil with Afhorven. How could he get Torah without? And then the Tzemach Tzedek regretted. He said he could have gotten this part of Torah that Alter Rebbe want to give him, and he will continue further struggling. You can struggle further also, but you can't. Ein Adam Eimed al Divrei Torah leim ken nichshel bo. You only remember a Gemara when it was difficult, you got stuck, and you had to figure out. Then you learn the Gemara. A Gemara that comes easy, it's like money. Gemara is like money. It comes easy, it goes easy. If you struggle, you work on it hard, then you keep it, you hold it. There was once a Bacher in Yeshiva here. It was years ago. I was away. I don't remember for what. For Simcha, I came back, and there was a parent of a Bacher in Yeshiva. That was a long, long time ago. And the father says, I'm going back today to the country where I am, to France. It was a French Bacher. And he says, I spoke already to the whole Hanhole, and I want to ask you, what's your opinion about my son? So I says, your son is wonderful. He has a good head. He learns and everything, but he has one problem. He comes easy the Gemara. He doesn't learn with the Chavrusa. So he says, so what? So he says, now there's no difference, but later it will come a time, then it'll be different. And that's what happens. A year later, he stopped learning because he only learned easy. If you learn with the Chavrusa, you have to even Chavrusa on the same level of you have to actually say it and go to and work on it. Then you learn to work on the Gemara. But if you used to just reading it, everything is okay. Next year came to a level that it was a bit difficult for him. He was never used to toiling and working. And he stopped learning. He's a very nice guy. He does a lot of nice things, a big asken. He was in a Bocher Yeshiva. He was a big asken here in Yeshiva. He did a lot of things. But learning, he did not continue learning. So things have to be difficult. Baruch Hashem, we live in a world that it's not so difficult to find things which are difficult. There's always difficult things, but the difficult things is where you grow, when one works. That's why we're here. We shouldn't look for things which are difficult. They come anyway, even if you don't look for them. But it's not the problem. The problem is if something goes too easy. In Mitzrayim, they ate everything for free, chinam. But in Avodas Hashem, there is nothing chinam. You have to work. Sometimes it goes easy. Work on something more than that. Struggle. When there is a struggle, that means that you're on the right way. When it comes too easy, the Frierdiker Rebbe once said in the first years after the Frierdiker Rebbe became Rebbe, and the Frierdiker Rebbe was saying a maimer, and he stopped in the middle. He never finished off. And then it was different than the way I remember with the Rebbe. So someone asked him what happened. So he says his father told him, the Rebbe Rashab told him that when a mimer goes very smooth, it's wrong. You have to stop. I don't know. I never said a mimer. Last time I was a Rebbe, I didn't say my morim. But it is somehow, you can see the Rebbe struggling while he said a mimer. So much effort in it. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said, it goes too smooth, then you stop it. So but by us, we don't need to stop. And if something goes smooth, continue it, finish it, and do the next thing, and the Rebbe will help. You'll struggle. The Baruch Hashem, you find some struggles. But it's not. You can't have a tainer that this is difficult. This is difficult. Baruch Hashem, we are in this world that it's difficult, and we're going to go over it, and we're going to continue. But the fact that something is difficult is not a reason to stop working. Continue. Things are difficult, you continue. They don't do the road when you approach a corner. They do the road especially that it's not so smooth, because if it's too smooth, it could be an accident. Chas v'sholom. You have to make it a bit difficult to roll on, right? So that is also, if someone is very, very easy, it's they didn't make it. In Gan Eden they do it like this, but not by us. L'chaim.